Hey everybody, how's it going this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whatever it is where you're at? We are setting up a run. So I thought rather than jumping straight into the run, I'm going to kind of show you guys how we set up the runs. So I am going to move the Zwift right here so you can see it. Gotta turn down my other stuff here. Don't get a bunch of audio feedback. Move Zwift up a little bit here, so you can see here. I'm gonna go to the pairing screen. On the pairing screen, I want to run down right around in this place. Pairing screen. If I click here, find the spot. There it is. See how it switches my power source? Do it again. Flips me back over to the run. So that is the little nugget on how you run app open. I wanted to show that to you guys before I got the run started here. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to camera back up for you guys. I wanted to show that. Where that's at or how. We are going to nice chill run to volcano. All right. I think we got it. All right, guys, we are going to get this run going. I'm all paired up. I've got my foot pod. I got my heart rate strap on. Got you streaming. I can see the Beam chat. I can see Facebook chat. So we should be all ready to go. I'm gonna kick my fan on and we're gonna get the treadmill started here. We're just gonna do a nice chill run at about 10-minute miles. Gonna get my watch started here too. So I'm not sure my watch is gonna go. All right, off we go. While we're running here tonight, guys, I'm not gonna run too hard so I can talk. If anybody has questions about the run module, how it works, how to get it set up or whatever, I can try to answer those here. We did put this out to the runners in the Zwift runners group. So hopefully we get some of the runners checking it out or maybe even running along with us here for a little bit. Trying to make sure I got the beam going okay. Not sure Beam chat's coming through my phone, but that's alright. Should be able to see it on my computer screen. I can see the Facebook chat, guys. So if anybody's got questions over on Facebook, let me know. Oh, there we go. See, Kuden just jumped in behind me. M. Davin just jumped in behind me. Hey, thanks for the comment on my treadmill camera. Yeah, that took me a little setting up to do. I am not getting Beam chat on my PC, so try to refresh here. There we go. Synthesis, yeah. There we go. Big Max commenting on the SCR earlier. He was racing as well with us. We had a good day on the SCR racing earlier today. Nathan did the race commentating, and I ended up sprinting for it ended up being a 4th place. So, looks like I got a Jay Hancock running behind me here. C. Kuden. We're going to get a whole pack going here. M. Davin is back in there. They got Frequency over in the how's it going, Frequency? Watching Facebook as well, guys. Haven't seen any chat over there yet, but looks like we got the Beam chat going, so looks like we're gonna have a pack running here. That's awesome. My legs are kind of heavy, so I'm not gonna run too high. Now Frequency's gonna do the 50K challenge tomorrow. Good for you. That's awesome. Brian Horton's giving me the Run Forest run. Thanks, Brian. Looks like we got M. Davin. Got 11 seconds back, throwing down some 8:30s. Chasing us. Got Kuden and Hancock right in front of me. That's pretty awesome. Getting a group out here with me. We get our chaser caught back up here. Maybe we'll step it up just a little bit. Get up close to Kuden and Hancock here. I'm gonna let this guy catching from behind get there first. Probably not gonna go the full hour 45 like I did last week. Been a long training day already, guys. Probably wouldn't be a good idea to go that hard today. Well, I'm not seeing the chaser here. Maybe he turned the other direction on accident. We can see a minute behind us, and we got no runners behind us. These two guys look like they can keep a little better pace. So I'm not going to go too hard, but I'll get down there in the 9:30 form. Appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight. I don't mind chatting. I actually prefer chatting. Makes the run go a little easier for me, so. We're just going to do loops of the volcano tonight. So we'll get to learn the volcano here really well. Oh, we must have lost our other guy. Oh, there he is. A little bit up from us. If I can get in the draft of the big guys here. Yeah, they're telling me on Facebook just to grab a bike, push a guy off, grab a bike. Bo Bishop's asking if this is available or if it's a test. Bo, this is available, and it is a test, both. There's a little secret place in the startup sequence that you can do to get the running part open. But it's open for anybody who is using Zwift. So you just have to have a compatible foot pod or either ANT Plus or Bluetooth. If you actually watch the beginning of this video, Bo, before I started running, I actually went back and showed how you can unlock the running portion. You can also check out the Zwift Runners Facebook page, and there's a pinned post that shows you how to unlock it and get into it. Chad Cooten, who's running with me, is asking about pace. Chad, I'll just kind of follow along with you guys. I prefer not to go under 9s. I'm not looking to run that hard. But anything between 9 and 10, I'll just kind of hang with you guys. So, I'm trying not to pass you guys. Just kind of hang in behind you. Hey guys, it is pretty easy if you get in that Zwift Runners Facebook page, etc. I'm not sure if Facebook will let you rewind this video while you're watching it, but if you can, go back to right when I come on screen, and I go through the sequence of how to find it on the PC app. I am running with a Garmin FootPod and a Viva heart rate strap. That's what I'm using here. And I'm running on the PC version of the app. Last week we did a run on the Richmond course, I guess it was. We covered the entire Richmond course, did just over 10 miles. And this week we're going to run loops of the new volcano here. can see one of the new game features they just released. You can see now just under on my stats at the top, you'll see the volcano with a clock running, and then my 30-day PR. Fortunately, that's a cycling time, not a running time. But now anytime you are on a segment that's eligible for a jersey in game, you will see a running clock at the top with your 30-day PR. And when you get close to the end of that segment, you'll get the full drop down. Chris Squire is asking how long am I running for? I'll probably run for at least an hour. 6 to 8 miles is my guess, Chris. If anybody's wanting to get in for a run, just get into the app, choose the volcano circuit, and choose Run With Me, see Schumm, and you can tag along here. It should drop you on course here right with me, and just pick it up and we can run together. I am on I don't even know, it's an AFG 2.0. Jose Luis Rivas is asking what treadmill. So, nothing fancy. Pretty average, I would say, home treadmill. No fancy features. No like Wi-Fi, anything like that. It doesn't even read my heart rate strap or anything. It does have handles here I can grab to do a heart rate reading, but you'll notice one difference if anybody's more familiar with the running portion of the app. My upper left-hand box that shows my pace and my heart rate changes colors when I'm running based on my heart rate zones. So when I'm green, I've got my heart rate up into zone 2. And then the little rainbow bar across there with numbers in it, each number indicates the number or the number of minutes that you've spent in that heart rate zone. So I did 3 minutes in zone 1 for blue, and I've done 11 minutes in zone 3, or zone 2, I'm sorry, for green. Chad's asking what's a good way to find a Zwift team. All the teams are a little different, Chad. I would first kind of reach out to the teams. They're all the big teams are pretty awesome teams. You know somebody on a team or kind of want to reach out to a team. Different teams are focused on different things and have different things to offer, and some are more race oriented, some are more community event type orientation. Some take things, racing and things a little more seriously. So I would recommend going on Facebook and reaching out to some of those teams and talking. It really depends on what you want to make a decision on what the right team is. It's a challenge. But there are people that come on wanting a team, but Team Experimental may not be the right team for them. They may be more oriented toward wanting to do big group rides and events and things like that. And there's some other teams that are much better at some of those things. Some of the big ones, you got WBR, ODZ, KFC, Team Vision, Team Experimental, TFC, Team Type 1, I know I'm missing a bunch, and I apologize to those I'm missing, but it's kind of rattling some off the top of my head that I race with a lot. Oh, Davin caught up. Awesome. He was chasing earlier. Or she was chasing earlier. So, awesome. I think we might have lost a few here. Yeah, Shane Miller saying we need running power-ups. Yeah. Not sure what they would be, but I think we could have fun with them. Chris Breeze is giving me a ride on. I appreciate that, Chris. Hey, Earl, thanks for the comment. Anybody jumping in here has questions about Zwift, about running on Zwift, about cycling on Zwift, feel free to post questions out there or just chit chat with me. Keeping the heart rate down enough that we can talk a little bit. If anybody needs Zwift info, I can help with that. Legs are a little heavy tonight. I think I've done 2.5 hours on the bike today. Got up early this morning and did an 1.5 hour ride. Did a 45-minute race over my lunch hour. Yeah, Chris was saying he was watching on Twitch. We are on Twitch, YouTube, Beam, and Facebook. Unfortunately, I can only really keep the Facebook and the Beam chat up and monitor it while I'm running. I just got too many screens up. I actually have to relocate my PC to run, so I have a little bit less viewing ability when I'm running to keep up with all the chat and still monitor that everything's working okay. And 10-4 Chad. Chad's going to catch up with us here. I'm going to keep the pace right here and run with Davin. I think maybe our two running mates earlier maybe got a wrong turn or something back there. So if you're jumping in to run with somebody, make sure, or ride, make sure you're selecting the same route as them. Zwift will put you next to them when you join the game, but if you don't select the same route as them, it won't automatically make you follow their path once you're in. So, you gotta make sure you're still selecting the right route when you join with somebody running or riding if you want to stay with them automatically. I'm gonna check. Beam's awful quiet tonight, guys. I want to make sure my beam. Oh, there we go. Mr. Haskell just saved me from checking my beam chat. How you doing, Chris? It was quiet over there at Beam. I gotta be careful running with the keyboard. Chris, I'll end up tangling up in the wires, and you guys will really have a video to watch then. No problem, Frequency. I was just concerned that my chat window wasn't working. I was having some issues earlier. Yeah, Chris Haskell, one of the ODC leadership team members over on Beam, is another fellow runner. He did his run earlier, he said. Yeah, we're keeping the pace nice and steady, long run pace today. Legs are a little screaming at me right now. I haven't ran since I did Zwift Community Live last week running, so this will be day 7. No running, and I've pretty well shredded the legs on the bike today, so cardio does not match the pain that my legs go through on the run right now. It's funny how that is for different sports too. I maybe the cycling much more than the running. Probably only I've been doing barely double-digit miles running. Been doing 10 to 15 hours a week cycling. So my cardio is there for the run, but it's awful punishing on the legs right now. Yeah, Frequency. I can pick up the pace and get the heart rate up there when I'm running right now, but it really is brutal. And last time I did that, my legs hurt for a couple days, so trying to get a little bit of base miles into the legs before I start really hammering any intensity into them. That's probably true. I'm guessing we get more cyclists tuning in than runners. Any cyclists that are looking at doing the bridge over to running, one word of caution I would give you is you may be physically fit enough to run hard, but it is brutal punishment on your legs. So make sure you ease into it. You can cheat cycling because it's not as much of a traumatic sport on your body. The punishment on your body isn't as bad. So you hear about the 10% rule. Don't increase your load, your pace, or your volume more than 10% a week. You can cheat that on the cycling and get away with it, but the running you cannot. So you may be in good shape to cycle, but I would definitely recommend following that rule very closely on the running, or you will very likely get an overuse injury from the beating that your lower limbs take running. It will very, very quickly manifest into an Achilles or an IT band or something like that that will nag you for months. Chad's commenting he's noticed that cycling's really helped his running. I'm the opposite. I started cycling first and then went to running. But when I'm doing both, I seem to be a better cyclist. I think some of that's just the cross training. Looks like Gavin's backing off here. I think it's just good cross training. When I only did cycling, I was really fighting some tightness, some problems with some balance in my muscles around my core and my hips, hip flexors, tight in the quads and the hamstrings, just a lot of imbalance issues that I really had to stay on top of my stretching and some of my other fundamental maintenance work on my body to really push cycling and stay cycling focused. Now that I'm doing the running a little bit more, the runs are helping me get a little more balanced muscle structure, get a little bit different things going on in my core that helps balance things out. It's just good cross training. It's just so much easier with running to overdo it. My cadence is somewhere around 160 contacts a second. So bang, bang, bang. You do that, at a 10-minute mile. So in 10 minutes, doing 160 contacts a minute. What's that, 1,600 heel strikes in a mile? You do that over 15 miles a week. That's a lot of trauma on your body. Where with cycling, it's muscle contractions, but it's not carrying the load of your weight 160 times a minute. So it's just very different. I'm definitely not as capable of a runner as I am a cyclist. I do all right running, but definitely favor the bike over the run. When I do triathlon, it's all about the bike, how big of a gap I can get, and just hold on for dear life when I run. Frequency saying it emphasizes the importance of shoe fit, motion control, and heel drop. Yeah, that's a good point, Frequency, and that's something I haven't talked about here. And Frequency is actually a guy kind of has done some running and done some Ironman stuff, and he's fighting a little bit of Achilles problems right now. But yeah, anybody looking to get over into running too, go to a good running shop and get a good shoe. Some people have pronation issues. They need a motion control shoe. You can get different heel drops, which is basically how high your heel is versus the ball of your foot. I've slowly dropped my heel. Most of my running shoes now run in the 4-5, I think, for a heel drop. These are actually some pretty cushy running shoes that I do for distance runs. They're a little heavier, a little less heel drop, but I usually do these to kind of reduce the trauma. Congratulations on your win, Tim. Tim over on Facebook saying he won his first one a few weeks ago. That's awesome. So, what I do with shoes, I've kind of found a couple of different shoes that I really like, and then I stick with those. And then I use a lot of online tools to find other shoes that are very similar. I read a lot of reviews, and I kind of float around between a few models. I'm lucky that I'm pretty neutral, so I don't need any kind of control issues. I can get a neutral, fairly low drop running shoe. I like a lightweight shoe, but doing a lot of treadmill work and, like I said, not having a lot of miles in my legs, using a little heavier shoe right now, it gives me a little more cushion. we're running into some glycogen depletion here, guys. Just kind of zapped. Hit another gel. These gels are so fantastic when you're starting to get wiped out. Hit a gel, and I actually got a little Gatorade today. So, little scoop for some of you guys out there. I see Cooden up ahead of me here, or behind me, hammering hard too. I'm gonna hold this pace, Chad. I'm not going any harder than this. We're talking about maybe getting some sort of duathlon going on Zwift Community Live. Probably just like a beta thing. Hey, Tim. Tim saying the race he won was only a few of them, nothing great, but a win's a win, and that's awesome. Take them whenever you can get them. But we're talking about doing a duathlon here on Zwift Community Live. Get something organized. Not exactly sure how it's gonna quite work yet. But something along the lines of a bike and then flip to a run. And if we get the timing right, I may do it while streaming, move my bike and set it up here next to the treadmill so I can stay active on a stream on both the bike and the run. He's asking, what am I doing to sync up the activity with Zwift? I am using a Garmin FootPod currently. It's an ANT Plus FootPod that is broadcasting my pace to Zwift. It will work with basically any running device that is capable of broadcasting pace over a public compatible format for Bluetooth and ANT Plus. So you got to be careful because some companies have proprietary things, but a lot of the Bluetooth and ANT Plus FootPods work. There's a few. There's this third FootPod, which is actually a power meter, running power meter. Milestone is a popular cheap one for a Bluetooth one right now. The Ticker Run Strap. If you're really interested in it, check out that Zwift Runners Facebook page. I believe they actually have a document in there for information in the pinned post about known compatible devices. I already had the FootPod that syncs up to my Garmin watch. So, now prior to it coming out on the PC, I did get a Viva heart rate strap, which will read the ANT Plus pod and transfer it to Bluetooth. So with that, I can run on Bluetooth with an iOS device as well. But I don't use the iOS device now. Okay, so Tim Gross here in chat wrote the doc, so we got the experts here. Tim, thanks for your time you put into that too in the community there. It's pretty awesome to see different people kind of find their niche in the community and volunteer and contribute to other people. Yeah, the TSS app is awesome. Tim, I actually, Chad's bringing up the TSS app, which treadmill, help me guys with what that means, but TSS app is an app that if you don't have a foot pod or a device that will broadcast your speed, if you have two iOS devices, you can on one device open this TSS app and you set that TSS app to the speed of your treadmill and it will broadcast that speed to the other iOS app that would be running Zwift. So that's one option of using that app. The other one is they actually have an option in that app where you can strap that phone, I believe, onto your arm, onto your wrist, and it would work like a foot pod with the swaying motion, and it broadcasts it that way too. So, awesome little app those guys did. And that's a super cheap way. If you have, like I do, an iPod or an iPhone and an iPad, and the app's just a couple bucks. Buy the app, you already have Zwift. All you have to do is when you set your treadmill on 6 mile an hour, set the TSS app on 6 mile an hour and run. Gooden's catching me, that's Chad. He's in chat too. Yeah, really the app is the cheapest way to get into the running, assuming you have two devices. And that's really, I think, the big caveat to it is you have to have two devices. Chad, if I hadn't done the 2.5 hours on the bike today, I'd pick up the pace with you and run some 8:30s or something. I don't think they're there. Chris Haskell, the domestique over on Beam, saying he's going to do a bunch of hotel running this week and love this course. Yeah, I kind of like the volcano course. It's small enough that you can actually do circuits. Feel like you're kind of checking the boxes off instead of just this one super long course. And then for those that have to travel a lot for work, I know when I travel for work, I can't take my bike stuff with me. Now, all I'll have to do is pack the strap, my running shoes, and my running clothes, which I pack anyway. So, I can do it all directly on my phone. I just can't share it with all you guys when I'm in the hotel. Yeah, Chad, that was a heck of a run to catch up there. Nice work. So what Tim is recommending, if you have iPad, iPhone, use the iPad for Zwift and the iPhone for TSS. Seems to work best. And that's the way I did it. Just to get a bigger screen for the iPad for Zwift too. It worked great. Has anybody got any big runs this year? Anybody training for some half marathons, some marathons, or some long course triathlons? Harry Grass is asking, bike and run. Yeah, we can do them both now. We're just running right now. Get on my bike earlier. Hey, John, John Hancock, who was out here running with us earlier, said he had to drop out, but appreciate you jumping on here, John. It was great to have you guys running with me. Frequency over at Beam saying if his Achilles gets healed up, he'd like to take a stab at the Chattanooga half marathon this fall, so that'll be cool. Frequency, I think you got time to get it healed up for that. Just take her easy, be patient. Jose's asking, can you do running on the same Zwift account that you already have? Yes. It does not take a special account to do running. You have the full capability to do it now, as long as you have the devices that are compatible with it. You just have to check out that Zwift Runners page to figure out where to click on the pairing screen to open up the running portion. So, Tim over on Facebook is also commenting on the London Marathon, but he's had some Achilles problems too. Doing an indoor 3,000. That sounds like it'll hurt. Chad Gooden, who's on course with me now, is training for a half marathon in May and a summer 10K series. Hey Jose, no problem. That's what we're here for. Help one another out. So, yeah, but I think pretty easy to get set up. Jose, you do a little research there on that Facebook page and ask any questions there if you got them. They'll help you out in a matter of minutes. A 10K series sounds rough, Chad. 5Ks and 10Ks are kind of a mixed animal for me. They're short enough. Man, they hurt so bad to run that hard. But 10K is kind of fun. You still got to pace it really good. Darren Brophy is asking how much is an average treadmill. You know, Darren, I really don't know. I think you can get one at some of your chain stores, your big box stores and stuff for a couple $100. You can very easily get up close to 1,000 pretty quickly if you want to get into higher quality. A lot of what I do, hey, we got another runner. Cruising, Jay Thomas. Nice work. One thing that I would recommend, and I do this for a lot of the stuff I get for cycling and for running, is keep an eye on your local Craigslist. And if you're part of any local clubs, running clubs, cycling clubs, triathlon clubs, a lot of the things that I've gotten, I rarely buy any of those high dollar equipment things new. So Anthony's telling us he's going to do two half tries maybe, and I am just an Ironman, a few ollies, in the New York City Marathon. Wow. Nice, Anthony. That's a big year. Got a little stutter step on Chad there when we're getting a weird video angle on him. Oh, Leadville. Reed Weber's doing Leadville. Reed, if you watch any racing on Zwift, my teammate Kim Little is going to come over and do Leadville this year, I believe. I've got a few local friends that have done it. Awesome race. Chad Cooden's saying he bought a used treadmill for $425. So the deals are out there. Graham Dawson's asking about all my cameras. So Graham, what I've done is I've used an app called Auto Hotkey that I've programmed. Got two different versions of it running that are essentially doing keystrokes to change the camera angles automatically in the background. So the way I've got it coded is it's a loop. It'll push the number 1 key in Zwift, then it'll wait 10 seconds, and it'll push the number 4 key, and it'll wait 10 seconds, and it'll push the next key. And it's just a loop that runs. So you get all these different camera angles. And then my physical cameras in this room are running similar. Basically, the two cameras are placed visually over top of one another on the stream, and my side camera is set to turn on and off based on F11 and F12 keys, and then I've got a loop set up that rotates hitting those keys to turn that camera on and off. So that's how my cameras are working. So when I'm doing like a normal run, I wouldn't be rotating the cameras, but pretty boring for you guys to just watch like one camera angle. So especially with these guys running around me and all the activity on track, give you guys a little rotation, a little more visual of what's going on around me while I'm running. Thanks, Graham. That's something I got from basics from another person who's done some streaming. We started with the side view camera and the front view camera on the bike, and then I've used that knowledge or that method to add in the camera angles within Zwift too. So Chad, I think I'm gonna go here to just about 6 miles and then walk it out and call it done. Reed's asking if it's hard to stay together as a group when you run. It's really not. There's not a drafting effect or anything. It's really just about holding a steady pace, making sure you're both turning in the same direction when you're on Zwift. So I'm just kind of holding a steady pace within 10 seconds or so of a 9:30 mile. Yeah, Graham. Graham's getting into streaming, so yeah, it's fun. Honestly, it's for me as much as it is for you guys. I mean, I enjoy helping people, and I want people to come here to get information, how they can do this and learn about it and use it to improve their fitness and reach whatever goals they want that to be. Whether it's just fitness or racing, or maybe it's about stress relief. Whatever that is, I'm happy to help. But in turn, you guys are helping me too. I don't want to get on the treadmill and stare at a screen or watch a television show and run. I enjoy running with friends, especially long runs. I enjoy having a conversation, keeping the pace down. So this kind of replaces that for outdoor runs for me. It's cold weather here right now. We're getting close to weather where I can run outside every day, but it's not always something I can do either. It's dark out right now. And just so you guys are helping me as well. Being able to do a 6 mile run on the treadmill versus getting bored at 3 miles and saying, I've had enough of this. Yeah, so Reed's question, and Tim kind of answered it in chat, but Reed was questioning, does it adjust my pace for the terrain? And no, Tim is correct on that. Right now, your running pace in Zwift is just exactly what your running device is telling Zwift you are doing for a pace. It does not slow down when you go up hills, and it does not speed up when you go down hills. So, like, I ran up to the mountain one day, and I was running past cyclists on the mountain, up at the top in the steep parts. So the grade adjusted pace is not part of it yet. I would anticipate things like that would come long term. Grade adjusted pace, could very easily see in the year, we're probably talking a couple of years, or maybe in the next year, I don't know, if this gets big, but treadmills being able to automatically adjust the gradient on the treadmill for what you're doing. And we're still completely running in beta. So, I think like first step is working on calibration. Right now I can calibrate with my Garmin watch on an ANC Plus foot pod, but I can't calibrate in Zwift. So I've had to do some manipulation of my foot pod and how I put it on my shoe, try to get as accurate a pace as possible. Now, Bluetooth foot pods are able to calibrate within the foot pod and store that calibration in the pod, so you can a little more easily get a calibration on most Bluetooth foot pods. So, if you're shopping for one, that's something to consider too. I would like to see the Viva heart rate strap when it translates ANC Plus to Bluetooth. I would like it to incorporate an ability to do an offset or a calibration in the translation. I'm a software developer myself, so I would think the logic to do that shouldn't be overcomplicated. If you just do some sort of straight percentage adjustment, which is basically what the Garmin calibration is now. Let's see, Chad, I think we're gonna go around here, go into the volcano, so I think I'll hit 6 miles before we go through. I'll run through the next lap banner. Should be just about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. Then I'll start walking. Yeah, frequency saying round it out to an hour, hitting 10K. Yeah, I think we'll get there. Actually, I think this is going to be almost like a perfect 10K course, which is a good thing to keep in mind if we want to do a race. We might be a little short, but if you actually did it as an event, starting in the event module, coming off the pier, you'd probably add 0.2 of a mile to it. So Reed's asking, does Zwift show or record any running dynamic stuff from the ticker or the Garmin heart rate? I doubt it, Reed. I've never tested it myself, but based on my experience with power pedals on the bike, the fit file that they create for the bike has none of the, what I would call extended information for the left-right power and the pedaling dynamics and things for the power. So I'm guessing on the running, it would be the same way. It would really just be the basics. it's going to have heart rate, it's going to pace, and maybe cadence. I don't even know if it's going to have cadence, to be honest with you. I'd have to check that. What I do, and kudos to Strava too. Little side note, take a left turn. Strava has it where our runs are actually uploading as runs now, so that's awesome. But I let Zwift upload to Strava automatically for my runs and my rides. But for my runs for Garmin and Training Peaks, I upload off my watch, which is recording the same devices, but with a little more accurate pace and with all those dynamics in it. Yeah, Tim, I did see that, and I've never dealt with his third. Tim is saying he's seen power and cadence recorded from his third. I believe if you sync this third power meter, running power meter up properly, you can sneak, I'll call it sneak power and cadence into your fit file. This is going to be like a perfect 1 hour run to the banner here. Frequency saying you may have missed it, but he would assume they still retain the advanced metric stuff in the file when it uploads to Training Peaks. And actually, at Frequency, we don't believe that's true. We're pretty confident that's not true. The advanced metrics for a power meter on a bike are not saved in the fit file from Zwift. So I'm highly doubtful that the running ones are. We do know that there's a way to pair the stirred foot pod to capture power and cadence. But as far as like stride information and that, I think you're going to have to record with your watch and upload from your watch to do anything with that for now. Yeah, but Tim's saying for this third is you have to power this third, you have to pair this third as a cycling power meter first, and then flip to the running app. And once you pair it as a cycling power meter cadence, and then when you flip to run, it'll still continue to record that. And I actually know that's true also, Tim, because I had a weird bug. One of the first times I went to run on the PC, not the iOS device, I accidentally clicked pair on the power meter before I flipped to run, and it picked up a weird signal from my kicker and thought it was at like 2200 watts. I have no idea why, but I had some weird signal that it picked up, and I just ignored it. Clicked over to the run, and I did my run. After I uploaded my run, and this was back when Strava was still uploading all of them from Zwift as virtual rides, my power curve, my cumulative power curve on Strava had this. Strava thought I was able, or that I did 2,000 watts for 30 minutes because that's how long I ran for. So actually I had to take that file, push it through a fit file tool to strip the power out of it so I could get my long-term power curve in Strava to come back down to where it's supposed to be. So I know exactly how to do it with this third foot pod. And I think it's an awesome little hack for the guys with a foot pod to be able to get some detailed metrics. I do think in general, I mean, you gotta guys, we all have to remember, Zwift is in its infancy. I know it's huge, but it's still so young from a development perspective. the things we're talking about, you know, the extended metrics for power meters. So a lot of your bike power meters have right-left balance, and you know, with different pedals will tell you at what point in the stroke that you're strong or not, and those types of things. You know, we've got the Garmin Run Strap, some of these other advanced metrics for running. Those things, a lot of those things have only been on the market for the what I call the standard tools for a couple of years. I think that's a natural place for Zwift to go, is for the files that they record and the data stream that they record to start adding those things into it. I would be shocked if all of those metrics are not in your fit files from Zwift at some point in the next 12, 18 months. I think that only just makes sense for them to go there. But I think right now, those things aren't going to take a priority over being able to handle the huge volume of riders and these massive group rides and adding roads and events, and I just don't think that would be the appropriate place for them to spend a huge priority yet. I think those things would be awesome to have, but if you gave me the choice for showing me my left-right balance on my power meter and showing my stride information directly out of Zwift, or give me another version of Watopia, or the ability to select which island I'm going to ride on, or private courses to race, I'm going to pick those last three things. I'm not going to pick the fit file. So that's my opinion. But I think we all get excited and I'm a developer, and I think about what's next, and you want to start building the building blocks, but each one of those blocks takes a lot of time. So it's so easy for us to get so excited about it. And Zwift is just like, oh, holy cow, you know, they're going as hard as they can, as fast as they can. So they're doing an awesome job. So yeah, Tim's saying in order to get the dynamic stuff, you got to record it on your Garmin as normal, which is pretty typical for everything. I'm recording all my power meter stuff on my Garmin as well. Honestly, I don't care about my extended metrics that much. I look at them when they're new and when it's something new and different to look at, or if I'm having a problem with something or something like that. But, you know, I wouldn't, you know, cadence is a good example, running cadence. When I first got my foot pod, I always ran outside with my foot pod on, so I knew what my cadence was. I don't care what my run cadence is anymore. It was really cool for about a week on every run that I knew what my run cadence was, and now I don't really care. I don't focus on that, I just run. I want to know my pace, I want it to be accurate, I want to know my heart rate. All that other stuff is cool, but I don't feel like I think it can help you learn some things about what you do, but I think you can overanalyze it if you're focusing on it on every single run. So Tim on Facebook has commented similar on the power comment that I made with the stirred. The problem with Strava and the stirred power is it does mix that power in with your cycling power, and it can throw off your power curves. There is a lot of proprietary dynamic stuff for Garmin. I found that out with my power meter on my bike. I got B Pro pedals. They give me the left-right balance, which is awesome. I do like that, but that's new to me, so I'm excited about it now. And in 2 weeks from now, I'm not going to care about it. But I still love the pedals because I now have dual-sided power, so that's awesome. But the left-right balance is cool for me to know now. I know I'm not going to care about that long-term. Or at least I'm not going to analyze it on every ride. But there's also a lot of like extended pedaling information that's proprietary to Garmin that you can only get if you've got the Garmin pedals. So like my B Pro pedals don't display that. And I think the same is true with the running dynamic stuff. A lot of that stuff is proprietary to Garmin. So doing a lot of rambling here on topics I'm not sure if you guys care about or not. Before I go, I do have to hype Zwift Community Live. I've done 2 segments this week, so I'm done for the week on Zwift Community Live. I'll probably be back next week for 2 similar segments. These time slots that I'm doing from both my racing and my riding or my running seem to fit my schedule, but I always have to be kind of flexible. So I can't promise I'll be back at the same time next week. So there's also a Zwift Community Live website now. So calendars on the website, this Facebook page, Twitter. The schedule is getting more and more full every day. Tonight, in 50 minutes, Scotty Weiss, who is the World Masters Championship holder in the time trial and the road race from last year, will be leading the WWR ride, which is a very fast-paced group ride. It is a group ride, but very fast-paced. They include sprints and stuff in there. And if Scotty sometimes does those on rollers even, which is even more fantastic. I believe after that, like immediately after that, there is also a Tour of California group ride that's set to be broadcast. And then I believe tomorrow, usually Thursdays is all Kiss all day. So there'll be lots of race commentary tomorrow. All of the locations that we broadcast here for Zwift Community Live, so Facebook, Beam, Twitch, YouTube, go to all those places, subscribe to all those places. Check out our past broadcasts. You will see, this is the second running session. I did one of these last week. I also do, and there's other guys that do what they call Racer Focus. Very similar to this, but I'm racing on my bike in a Zwift race. And I will answer questions and talk a little bit, but I'm racing. So I'm going, heart rate 170, 180. We're sprinting for wins. We're going hardcore. So we've got one of those almost every day, sometimes a couple a day, from a Team Experimental member or from a KRT member or Team Vision. So those are scattered throughout the week. We've got training sessions with Suscanas on Friday nights. We've got Life and Cycling with Mrs. Coach, which is usually on Tuesday mornings, where that's a kind of a question and answer session with somebody that's got a good amount of knowledge on cycling and nutrition and training, and awesome segment there. And then obviously what started a lot of this, the broadcasting, was the race broadcast. So all of the different race broadcasts. Tomorrow we'll have a lot of KISS races, I believe, being broadcast. And with those, you actually have, a commentator who's usually Nathan Guerra. Sometimes we got other guys in there with him or somebody filling in. But, go to those places, check those things out. Make sure you're checking the schedules. If you follow the channels, you follow the Facebook channel, you follow the Beam channel, I believe Twitch and YouTube will do the same thing. You can set notifications that they'll ding you when we go live. So when I'm not working out here, anytime I'm on my bike or I'm running on the treadmill indoors on Zwift, I'm usually on my own personal Beam channel as well. So check me out on Beam, see Schumm, come keep me company. I strictly do it just to have some camaraderie with the community and to keep me occupied while I ride the bike. So if you have questions or whatever, come bug me. I'm happy to answer them because it keeps me distracted while I'm suffering. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me tonight. Got a nice little walking pool down here. Apparently the timer stops when I slow down. Is that a feature? I just noticed that. It's still moving, but my time has stopped. Hey Johnny, thanks for that link in chat. Johnny put a link in the Facebook chat to my Beam Pro channel, my personal channel. beam.pro/cschumm. And shout out to Johnny for staying up late tonight and getting us all going. So I'm gonna I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I'm gonna get me a lot of food, and I'm gonna sit on the couch and I'm gonna tune in to ZCL for the WWR ride, and we're gonna let Scotty entertain me for the evening. So we'll catch you guys all next week.